Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala salat, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah. Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. ولله الحمد. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب واحلم يجد له وجه. أحمده سبحانه وتعالى وأشكره وهو أهل حمد ودانا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ومصطفى. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وأهله وصحبه وسلم. Alhamdulillah bil alamin. We thank Allah Almighty, the Lord of all the worlds. All the worlds, you can't translate that. Everywhere, anywhere, whenever, however, Allah Almighty is there. And He is Lord of all the worlds. There's nothing outside of His control. Allah Almighty says that His throne extends over the heavens and over the earth. He don't sleep, nor does He slumber. In other words, He's watching everything all the time, everywhere. There's not a leaf that falls that He did not give permission for that leaf to fall. How many trees are there in the world? Yet every leaf has to have permission to fall. And He knows what leaf fell. It was a leaf in Africa, it was in Europe, it was in Asia, it was in America, it was in Jablip. That one leaf, Allah Almighty knows that that leaf fell. What about us? You don't think Allah Almighty knows when we even turn over? See, this is why Allah Almighty created us so that He can be known. Allah wants us to know Him. Like we know everything else, especially the things we should know or do. We know that better than we know our Lord, and that's why we stay jammed up. When Allah Almighty says, I have completed my favor on you and established the deen, the religion for you, for humanity of all the worlds, that meant that now humanity could grow up to bring about the atmosphere in which we come from. We come from Allah Almighty. And if Allah Almighty is Lord of all the worlds and controlling everything, how come everything is out of order? There has to be something wrong with this picture. That means that Allah Almighty is not in authority here. And Allah Almighty is not being known here. And so Allah Almighty, through His wisdom, He allows us to go through trials and tribulations and ups and downs and isms and schisms and all kind of problems. So Allah may send one of His friends just to clear it up. Immediately. It may go for centuries. Then Allah Almighty sends His servant, it's finished. The Bani Israel people were in slavery with Pharaoh for centuries. Allah Almighty sent Musa alayhi salam and his brother and his staff, and it was finished. Whatever the lesson and whatever the blessing that Allah Almighty wants to give us, Allah allows our disobedience to be our teachers. So we know firsthand what we did. So we know firsthand what Allah Almighty did. We can be so far for so long in the wrong direction, and we just get one tip for the right direction, and everything is finished. And then people say, oh my God, that's mercy. That's what mercy is. Allah Almighty wants to be known, but Allah Almighty cannot be known unless He allows us to do those things that put us in situations that when we do know, we don't return to them. When Allah Almighty says, I've completed my favor on you, Allah is saying that now I've given you every wherewithal of approach to me. But that approach to me is the approach through you. So Allah Almighty always sends from humanity to guide humanity through humanity to Allah Almighty. Because that part of us that has no beginning and has no end, we cannot define it with something that's limited in terms of knowing. During the time of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, people used to come to him and ask him about the soul. And he used to tell them, I don't know about the soul. This was a prophet of Allah Almighty. He knew about the soul. But this person that was coming to him was like someone taking a cup and going over to Lake Michigan and trying to put all of Lake Michigan into a cup. How can you know about the soul through your mentality that can barely comprehend your daily bread? How to get your daily bread. So understand what I'm saying. When Allah Almighty says that I have completed my favor on you, Allah is saying I have given you the wherewithal so that now you may know about yourself. And in knowing about yourself, then you will know that there is no beginning and there is no end and there is no words that can express you with your whole being would exhaust all the words and still continue. There will be no words that can reach or define or explain you. We don't get it. We don't get it. And as a result of it, Allah Almighty allows us to suffer. That suffering is a mercy. Because we're saying, as we suffer, there has to be a better way. Oh my God, help me. Bam, it opens up something. At some point in time, the human being has to look for something beyond itself even if they're so just in an explanation or in an expression, oh my God. Because now the mind cannot comprehend such an atrocity, something that it cannot define. How do you define? And it just happened recently in one of the European countries. It was just a calm day. And all of a sudden, the ocean started to rise. And it came ashore. And it covered everything. Just covered it. How do you explain that? Do you call your congressman? Do you call your governor? Do you call your president? Do you call the police? Do you dial 911? It's unexplainable. All you can do is say, oh my God, in whatever language. Because Allah Almighty has put in us that panic button within ourselves. That when the mind submits and realizes that it is not the end all, be all, something deep within us say, oh my God, help me. Then it subsides. What it was doing doesn't finish doing what it's doing. Allah Almighty just wanted to get our attention. That happens all the time, everywhere. So you have to be awake. But be awake to what? Be awakened to you. Here you are, 1 in a million in life, and yet you feeling like, why was I? How come I? What's wrong? Why this happened to me? That's not what your question should be. Your question should be, oh Allah, I'm 1 in a million. What would you have me do as your servant? That's the question. Coming in this life waiting to die. Just here going into your daily life, just going in your daily life, living ordinary and dying ordinary. You're just an ordinary piece of humanity, born on the stripes of poverty, living life that way. What did you do for the people? What did you do for yourself? We don't think. And that's why. You know why we don't think? Because we think that we're the end all be all. And the whole thing about what worshiping is, submitting our will to Allah Almighty, we don't understand what that means. We eat. Wake up in the morning. We feel those hunger pains. We take our hand pot somewhere and get something to eat, even if it's just a bowl of cereal. Something you put in your stomach because your stomach says, I'm hungry. Feed me. And we snacking all day long and eating every day. Every time we'll leave anything, no matter what we're doing, we'll find time to stop and put something in our stomachs. Feed our mouth. You'll see people talk. You think they're talking? No, they're chewing on something. But we don't feed our souls. We don't feed our souls. Don't you know when Allah Almighty says, I have completed the religion for you and given Islam your way of life? Allah Almighty is saying that even though your mind cannot comprehend that part of you who has no beginning and has no end. But I'm giving you a way of life so you can feed that part of yourself that's going to give you the dominion over anything else that you can ever comprehend. And then when you reach that, you really don't even have to ask Allah Almighty. That is on the divine order. It is asking. It is praising. material things, the physical, becomes the servant of the servants of Allah Almighty. And when they ask, because Allah Almighty, this is the month of Rajab, usually Allah Almighty looks to this world between midnight and Fajr, and Allah Almighty asks the question, who's asking? But during Rajab, all day long, the angels can't write, nobody's writing. Allah Almighty all day long is asking, who's asking?
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar!
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar!
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar! Oh my Lord, I'm asking to take more of my inheritance. Give me more of that power, that unleashed power, so I may do your will. That's part of what wisdom is. That's part of your spiritual inheritance, to know even what to ask for. When Allah Almighty is asking, what are you asking for? Allah is asking you to ask, you say, let me have a few dollars. What? Come on, man. You ain't ready yet. You don't even have to ask for a few dollars. If you're asking Allah, you can say, dollars, get in my pocket or whatever. Get in the bank. I'm ordering you. You pay the bills. But we don't understand that. We don't realize the greatest power is the only reality, which is Allah Almighty that dwells in us. Allah says, I'm closer to you than your jugular vein. Isn't it amazing that Allah says, I'm closer to you than your jugular vein? What runs in our jugular vein? Our blood. Don't you know, in our blood, this is where they can detect our DNA. Your physical genealogy, in terms of through your parents, is how best you would relate or be from these particular individuals. You're from the human race. You're not from the animal race. You're not a bird or a cat or a dog. You're a human being. Your DNA says that this is what you are. And you cannot be anything other than your DNA as a physical specimen. You can try to change it. I have yet to see someone change their blood. How can you change your blood? Isn't that something? How you can change your physical, you can change your nose and your ears and your body, but you cannot change your blood. That's just on one, a symbolic of your spiritual DNA. Who you are. Who you are spiritually. Just like you cannot get away from the fact of who you are in your blood DNA, you cannot get away from your spiritual DNA. You come from Allah, and Allah you return. Why are you acting like animals? With no power, no control over ourselves. Living lack. Don't you know difficulties are supposed to be like things that difficult to say, well, you know what? Hey, I came on them like a tsunami, and they just like, I just went down, rolled down their back like they just were sweating. I had no power to destroy them. That's Allah Almighty in us. You have to understand that when Allah Almighty sent the Old Testament, New Testament, and Quran, these are not tales of the ancients. These are ancient stories about people that had through their blood, the DNA, and also their spiritual DNA, but they submitted their physical DNA to their spiritual DNA, and they became something so awesome that we even talk about them today. This is why we use less than 10% of our brain. That's weird. I mean, We're just going by our instincts. The mind is created, the brain is created. At that part of us that can go to the seven heavens. The seven heavens is the level that Angel Brill in terms of intellect. That's the way we should think. But that thinking takes us to a whole nother level when we're thinking. That thinking takes us beyond the seventh heaven, which is that part of us that's our spiritual DNA. So you have to use your physical DNA to submit it to your spiritual DNA to reach to your Lord Almighty in this day. We don't have people among us that reach that, and that's why we don't reach it, maybe. Unless we just rebellious people. We just want to die as stupid people. Maybe we just want to die as lazy people. But I tell you, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. He will use your mind, your body, your soul, everything, every blessing the Lord Almighty has given you. They will take it from you and use it against you and make you pay for it. That's why Allah Almighty sends His servants. He said, no, I'm taking back the sacred territories that Satan has taken from the crown of creation. They know. They know. Don't take them lightly. They know. They're just patient with us. They just tolerate us until it gets to a point they have to show up and show out. Don't let that happen. Don't let them have to show up and show out. Let them do what they do without interfering with what Allah Almighty has given them. They're here to take us where Allah Almighty has ordered us to go. And why do you think there's always a few people? Allah says few from the former times, few from latter times. But the few always control the many, because the many are usually dummied down. Shaitan usually possesses the many through our egos, making us feel good and tricking us through feeling good. Don't keep falling for that. Because to fall for that is to fall in a place difficult to get out of. Unless Allah Almighty's mercy comes to us through in the person of one of His servants, it's finished. But if Allah Almighty doesn't send His servants, it can't be done. It's impossible. It is impossible for us to go up and return to get our inheritance in this life and the next life without them. It's impossible. Ask Allah, where are they? Seek them out and don't leave them. They are our salvation. We realize that once we wake up, but if we sleep, we die sleep. If you're walking dead, you die dead too. You'll be dead in this life and the next life while you're in this life. Then when we wake up on the other side, Allah, you'll be telling Allah, I want to go back. For what? You'll just be cheated again. We're begging Allah Almighty for the blessings of this holy month of Rajab, the month in which Allah Almighty multiplies good in this month. Not to be like those people that lost their way and were given wrath, but to those that were Allah Almighty loved and He bestowed His grace upon, and He gave them the Sirat al-Mustaqim in this life and the next life. They actually worked for Allah Almighty. They remembered Allah Almighty first thing in the morning, during the day, last thing at night. It was their Lord. They worked for Allah Almighty. People say, well, how do you work for Allah Almighty? If I got to go on my job, I didn't go to school and got my engineering degree. Remember Allah in the morning, remember Allah through the day, and the last thing in the night. You're working for Allah Almighty. Then Allah will guide you on where you are, to raise you up where you are. It's simple. Don't make it difficult. Don't make it difficult. Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala karul mursaleen, Muhammad Nabi Umi wa ahlihi wa sahbihi ajman amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We're asking Allah Almighty to please wake us up. To be the people that were not like the people that turned their backs on Allah Almighty and were led into the hellfire, deaf, dumb, and blind, and became agents of Shaitan. Because don't you know, an agent of Shaitan is someone who is, through their ego, listening to Shaitan, and so Shaitan possess us and use us and harms us and have us to harm others. So we'll make sure that we get the hellfire, not only in this life, but the next life as well. He's not our friend. Allah Almighty's friends, we give him hell. But we give Shaitan everything. Give him our heart. We have to wake up and stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. We have to pay attention. This is Jumah. Pay attention. What's on your phone that's not you to help you on your phone? You're supposed to look. It's like in prayer. How long have you been here? You're becoming more stupid? What's wrong? You look to where you're going, to your Lord. Stop looking to Shaitan. That's why you're a day late and a dollar short. That's why you're failing in everything. Living deaf, dumb, and blind ain't gonna die that way. Keep it up. They're sending you here for a reason, to wake up, not to go to sleep. Come to Salah.